Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. I wanted to share one card reading. The card is Balance, Spirituality, and Practicality, Full Moon in Pisces. So I'm feeling that, and it shows the two fish swimming, which is what Pisces is known for. We are about to go, or actually we're in Pisces season, I believe. No, not yet, actually, because some Aquarians are born in February. Sorry. We will be in Pisces season soon, but we're definitely cusping Pisces. So people born in this range of February are more Aquarius-like. Okay. But anyway, so the two fish swimming is about, there's so many ways to read it. But in terms of Pisces, it's about duality in a broader sense. The duality of mankind, of humanity, of life and death, and of the mind, really, because Pisces can in a lot of ways be about mental processes, and people who have strong Pisces placements might have like genius IQ. I think Albert Einstein was a Pisces. You know, also Aquarius and Capricorn placements can denote genius. Also Scorpio in a different way. Anyway, not that others, all signs have their own genius, but I'm talking about the sort of like someone who has like a vast knowledge, or like many skills, or like multifaceted ability, cognition. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to use it. That's the other side of Pisces. Okay, so a lot of Pisces become addicts, or people who live in fantasy worlds, or people who are mentally ill, or people who are subsumed by illness, not of their own fault, of course. But so that card, so the opposite of Pisces is Virgo, if we're going to delve into astrology. So that would mean, so both signs are communicative and mutable. That means changeable. But Pisces is like about, like, it's the last sign. It's like an old age, an old soul sign. It's like the age 87 or something, or 80s. So and then Virgo is much younger. Obviously, it's like below the equator, so it has like a different understanding. It's much more self-centered, and so self-focused, not seeing the universe. It's more seeing the universe through its own eyes. And then Pisces is more detached. And so Pisces is about like non-clarity, like confusion, maybe like fogginess, you know, the ocean with the Neptune influence, and also like positivity with the Jupiter, like expansion. There have a lot of capability for being visionary people who think of an idea and make it happen. And then Virgos are much more concerned, I mean, maybe not obviously, with just like day-to-day life tasks, diet, and they can also get out of whack with these things: health, job, work, numbers, memorizing, maybe dictation, or maybe being like, they're both multifaceted, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so they can have also many skills. But where they differ is that, so this is where the Virgo would need to find their Pisces. And also Virgo people can become addicts, because being opposite Pisces can be a really strong influence. Just having the sun sign opposite, or wherever Pisces is, if it's, especially if it's at a critical degree, wherever Virgo is, being opposite, you have to also look at the sign that's opposite, if it's like in a major planet, and how that's affecting you. So especially with the sun. So both signs choose addiction for mental health issues. Pisces rules hospitals, like prisons, places of solitude, jail, I already said, like, you know, also just death and like hospice, and then, or asylums, like insane mental institutes, and then Virgo, like both signs have extreme anxiety, basically, is what I'm trying to say, like mental health issues and anxiety, and they need to learn to balance the other. And Virgo can become like incredibly fixated on perfection, and Virgo rules mental health, actually. So that's why Pisces can become so mentally ill, is because they're opposite Virgo. So anyway, but mental illness really is just miscategorized in our culture, and many Pisces people may be like actually channels or psychics, and may have grown up in environments where it was like misunderstood, and like maybe they felt like outcast or confused and had to conform. That's like a very typical Pisces story, because they want to be in the community. The 12th house is Aquarius. And then, so, sorry, I know I'm going on a tangent, but this is the reading. So Virgo, for someone who's obsessed with health and diet, can get so out of whack. And for someone who rules mental health, can become so mentally ill. Because, you know, when you're so mentally, really the dichotomy here is about the body and the mind. So if you have South Node Virgo, for example, it could be about health issues and upbringing. And then the North Node Pisces asks you to release mental processes and health issues and go towards the body. And so that can become imbalanced, because the body and mind, people don't realize how much, like some people might not realize they're having an anxiety attack until it's happening, because we're so out of touch in our culture with either one or the other. And you know, it's interrelated. So if you're out of touch with one or the other, you're not, what I'm saying is a lot of people are disassociating, which is a very Piscean thing. The need to disconnect from all this mental chatter and maybe things that you're picking up from other people, can come up as drinking a lot of wine or becoming a heroin addict, or I don't know, whatever addiction is. It can even just be too much pot or drinking too much. And it can also be fantasy thinking. They might have literal, like, they might have fantasy reasons for, you know, their second house is in Aries, so can actually have some impulsivity with Pisces. So they might make up some reasons for being impulsive that live in the imagination land and just live there. And they also have a lot of sadness with the 12th house, and their 12th house rules them. So that's the house of sorrows. 6th house is ruled by Demeter in terms of astrology, in terms of, I guess that is astrology. Demeter, I think, would be Venus, or no, sorry, I don't know. But anyway, I'm talking about the goddess of the, she was like goddess of spring, who's like punished to live underground by some, I think it was probably just Zeus. He's the one who like did all the evil stuff. Anyway, and then comes up for spring. Because, so Pisces can be about like self-undoing or martyrdom, but also like just suffering. This may be like a time of hardship, and you also may be like really mentally preoccupied with the Virgo aspect, like, or like you're being called to bring in order your mental health by aligning your body and aligning your body by your mental health. But so I was going to say that your enteric system, which is your gut, is its own brain basically, and it controls a lot and gives messages to the whole body and really dictates how we digest, dictates so much about how we live. So I'm also talking about what you digest in terms of like what you expose yourself to. There may be like things you're reading or people you're speaking with that are causing you to absorb negativity, or like even self-talk that's really negative. Or there may just be like, I'm sensing a lot of like fear and like, you know, sometimes in life a good message is like you can get through it no matter what, but sometimes it's also like self-compassion. That like, yeah, like if you ever heard of this woman Kristin Neff, I'm obsessed with her. She's like self-compassion researcher, and like I think she teaches at University of Texas, or she used to. But anyway, there's a documentary about her family online. You should check it out. I think it's called Horse Boy. It's really good. It's about her autistic son and the family traveling to China to do some spiritual healing. Yeah. It may be beneficial for you to do some deep meditation during this time, because I can see you trying to think your way out of something, trying to feel your way out of something, which are both extremes, trying to, of Pisces and Virgo, trying to reason also things from the past. And that's not helpful right now. That's just going to drag you down. So instead of doing that, looking at your South Node of negative things from growing up, or even recent negative things, we can call that the South Node. We're looking forward to the future, and it may seem scary and intimidating, and we may be like having a lot of anxiety is what I'm sensing. I'm sensing 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 8 of Swords. That would mean that there's a sequential thing happening here, and there's a death happening. A death of the old. And Pisces is about finality and death. And Virgo can be spring here because of the relationship to Demeter, goddess of spring. It's hard to hold a dichotomy, isn't it? That's kind of what this polarity is about. That like, it's really hard to. A Pisces in particular has so many personalities. It's an unpredictable person. Even though they're peaceful and loving in nature, they also have many selves because they're all of the zodiac in one. They've lived all those lives. And they can also be about deception. You may feel really like there's someone you're talking to who's like gaslighting you, or like not validating the difficulty of your reality. And I also sense you worrying a lot about other people's situations, and that's so nice, but it's also draining your energy. And the best thing to do is pray for those people, or however you want to denote it. You can send white light, positive energy. And I'm also sensing that you are someone who you just need more downtime, because that's where more epiphanies will come to you. And I'm hearing the phrase like one day at a time. I don't know if you're in recovery, you know someone who's in recovery, maybe you've been dealing with people who were in addiction. It's also used in Al-Anon, I believe. And it's just a spiritual practice. I think I've talked a lot about Zen mind, beginner's mind here, which is, to me, relates to one day at a time. That it relates to also the Mahatma Gandhi quote, every day when I go to sleep I die, when I awake I'm reborn. So I guess the message is don't despair, and I validate these difficult, challenging, hardship moments that you are having to face right now. It feels like there's some Saturn things happening. I haven't looked at the astrology really, but maybe Saturn's hitting your chart in a different way. I believe it went into Aries. So that can also mean, discipline that brings a lot of financial reward, which seems like it might not be the truth, but Saturn is also our medium Koli, which is our point of highest, like, being seen, and money, really, and career. So I know this feels like a low point, and I think that just taking your mind off of these worries, I would put a timer on and say for these 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I am not. And before you do this, you can make a list of all the extreme, like, you can also do a list of things that you really have to do, but it can also just be like a CBT. I don't know if you've ever done cognitive behavioral therapy. You can just make a list of, like, things that stress you out. Like, it can make no sense. It can be little dash marks, and, like, you can do it in your notes of your phone. You can just be like, I don't know what I'm doing. These are the thoughts that I want you to connect with when you are feeling like, how am I getting out of this? Like, spiraling. Write those down. And then you're going to time yourself for 20 to 30 minutes, and not do your best to not think about any of that stuff. What am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? What's my next plan? What am I going to do tonight? What am I going to do tomorrow? None of that. You're just going to breathe. You can put on a guided meditation if you want, or you can just focus on your breath. You can do this lying down, standing up, sitting against a wall, however you want, but it's about slowing down the nervous system. And that is what will take our prefrontal cortex, put it back online in terms of functioning properly. Because when we're stressed, we actually cannot, think clearly. And you can go a long time in that state. And I'm not expecting you to be out of that state once you've gone the 20 minutes or however long you give yourself, but it's about training every day. Because life is a marathon. You cannot give up. And you cannot... Sorry, I am getting some sort of messages from my guides here. Trying to be sort of open. You can't discount your dreams. No matter what age you are, no matter what your situation is, things can get better. Things can improve. Dare to dream big. Dare to think of possibility. And even the sort of moves you make right now, you may say, oh, this won't pay off till however long. It doesn't matter. Get the energy going. And then, put those archery, arrows out there. Put your hat in the ring for some things. And then do something you can control. Because you can't control when that job will respond to you, or that opportunity, or whatever it is that you're trying to change. You can't control when that will change. You can make movements and actions to hope that will change. But then you have to control what you can change, which is your mood. This is getting down to some real Abraham Hicks stuff. I don't know if you know, I'm a big student of theirs. And they relate to Zen mind and beginner's mind too. It's every day, you can start again vibrationally. It's hard to because you're picking up from where you left off. But every day, if you quiet your mind, you can find that place of inner peace that you can then project outwards to reach your goals and to be fearless in your pursuit of life. I'll be posting an extended reading, and I am available for personal readings if you're interested in one. I will put my info for that below. Thanks for tuning in.